Tonight, CBC News uncovers new details about a female hockey coach now charged with sexually assaulting a former player.
It was a gut punch, 100%.
Parents and players speak out about the red flags they saw.
Had that been a male, there would have been immediate consequences.
Planning to make your home more energy efficient? Ottawa's program to help is running out of money.
How am I going to afford paying the bills for all of these things?
When the cash could run out. The BC coroner's urgent calls for a safer drug supply, but the province says no. How many times do you think you OD'd?
Almost every time I use.
We break down why and take you inside an effort to push back
Meth is in green bags.
that police say is illegal.
This is The National with Ian Henemansing.
And we begin tonight with the CBC News exclusive about a former girls hockey coach now facing more than a dozen sexual offense charges. Some of her former players and parents say they witnessed and endured inappropriate behavior. They complained, but she continued coaching. Last week, Madison Baluk was charged by Winnipeg police with 15 counts, including sexual assault and sexual exploitation of a minor. The charges stem from an allegedly abusive relationship with a teenage player Baluk coached in Manitoba. Our Karen Paul spoke with the players and parents about what happened when they spoke out.
It was a gut punch, 100%.
Stacey Running Rabbit's reaction when she saw this news conference announcing 15 charges, including luring and sexual assault against her daughter's former coach, Madison Baluk.
The accused forged an inappropriate sexual relationship by grooming and gaining the trust of the survivor.
The case involves a female hockey player under age 16 that Baluk coached in Manitoba between 2019 and 2021.
Was I surprised? No, unfortunately, I wasn't.
In 2021, Baluk was hired as the new coach of an elite female under-18 hockey team in Okotoks, Alberta. Running Rabbit's daughter was on the team. She and other parents say they got concerned after a team-building event in Banff in November 2021. It's not clear if anyone formally complained then, but 6 families signed a letter to the Hockey Association in March 2022, detailing Baluk's personal relationships with players, including texting on Snapchat and FaceTime, drinking on a team overnight trip, and more. We've spoken to several players who describe a difficult year.
She was very good at manipulating and gaslighting players.
We've altered their voices and we're not identifying them because they were minors.
It was a lot of mental and emotional abuse.
One saw a teammate and Baluk sitting together on a bus ride home from a game.
And the teammate had her legs across Maddie's lap, and Maddie had been caressing on the teammate's legs.
Another remembers being shocked by some of the conversations Baluk had with players.
She would ask players about their relationships and their sex lives.
Running Rabbit says that crosses a line.
Had that been a male in that situation, that there would have been immediate consequences.
No one from the team or the league has responded to CBC's requests for comment, but the Okotoks Oilers Athletic Association put out an email earlier this week saying it is not aware of any complaints which are similar in nature to the charges brought against Ms. Baluk by the Winnipeg Police, but anyone with concerns should contact the Okotoks RCMP.
So, Karen, what happened after that letter of complaint?
Well, Ian, Madison Baluk's contract wasn't renewed for a second year. She came back here to Winnipeg to coach yet another elite U18 female hockey team. Now, we've asked that team, the league, and Hockey Winnipeg if anyone did background checks, called references, and contacted that team in Alberta. No one will answer our questions. And Ian, we've tried to reach Baluk for a comment, but haven't been able to contact her.
Karen Paul's reporting from Winnipeg. In the Middle East, Israel says it will allow more fuel into Gaza, though only a fraction of what the UN says is needed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu acknowledged the challenge of sparing civilians in its war to destroy Hamas.
We'll try to finish that job with minimal civilian casualties. That's what we're trying to do, minimal civilian casualties. But unfortunately, we're not successful.
The death toll of the war in Gaza, according to the Hamas-run health ministry, is now more than 12,000. These satellite images show thousands are still fleeing Gaza's north through corridors opened by Israel's ground forces, but there is no true refuge. Medical care increasingly scarce, and at tense breadlines, so is food. After 6 weeks of airstrikes and now urban combat, Briar Stewart shows us the struggle to survive in Gaza and the continued fear in Israel.
There seems to be no end to the grief here. This is outside a hospital in northern Gaza, which medical staff describe as being in a dire condition. And that can be said for much of Gaza. There's no fuel, no electricity, no water, says this woman. There have been warnings about widespread hunger and disease. Israel has reportedly agreed to allow 2 fuel trucks into Gaza every day to be used for the water and sewage systems. But aid officials say much more is needed. As Israel vows to hit Hamas targets wherever and whenever, its special forces continue to search the Al-Shifa hospital, which they accuse Hamas of using to conceal a command center. But the medical staff say the fighting around the hospital is jeopardizing hundreds of patients.
We can see them checking and searching the east part of the hospital, and no one is firing against them.
On Friday in Israel, a funeral for a 19-year-old soldier who had been captured by Hamas and found dead near Al-Shifa. Hamas also released a video of another Israeli hostage who it says has died.
We had strong indications that they were held in the Shifa hospital, which is one of the reasons we entered the hospital.
Hamas says some of the hostages were in hospitals because they were getting medical care. But no one believes that at this community in southern Israel. Netiv HaSarah is closed off by the military, but we were given access today, taken in by one of the local residents to a community right on the edge of Gaza.
This is as close as you can be to Gaza without actually being there. We are just meters from the region. It's on the other side of this wall.
When militants attacked last month, Hamas used paragliders to get over this wall. 21 people were killed, including the elderly couple who lived in this house, which was burned to the ground.
Get down, get down, get down.
The constant threat of attack means that no one can stay here, and they're only allowed to visit with a military escort.
Think you'll ever feel safe here again?
No, probably not. Probably not. What happened today will always going to be on our minds. It will never go away.
Peace, a dream unrealized, now seems even farther away.
Briar, we're hearing now that the amount of aid into Gaza is set to increase.
Well, that's right, Ian. Israeli officials are now saying that they won't put a limit on the number of aid trucks that can go into Gaza, but that doesn't mean that any kind of increase will happen quickly because the UN has to submit lists and Israel has to approve them. Now, the Prime Minister here has faced a lot of international pressure, calling for him to pause fighting and increase aid, but now he's facing some criticism from his own government. His finance minister has called the decision to send more fuel into Gaza a serious mistake.
Briar Stewart back in Jerusalem tonight. As the violence in the Middle East raises tensions all over the world, hate is spreading online. Several major advertisers have pulled their spending from X, formerly Twitter, after its owner publicly endorsed an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. And TikTok is under fire after the writings of Osama bin Laden started trending. Jamie Strachan shows us the backlash.
I need you to stop what you're doing and go read A Letter to America.
The latest viral videos on TikTok promoting a 2-decade-old letter written by the architect of 9/11, Osama bin Laden, riddled with anti-Semitism.
The way this letter is going viral right now is giving me the greatest sense of relief.
Young progressive people are being encouraged to believe that the most hateful, illiberal, murderous terrorist of recent history is actually a paragon of virtue.
The Israel-Hamas war has queued off a torrent of online hate since the October 7th attacks. According to the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, anti-Muslim hate speech on X, formerly known as Twitter, jumped 422%, while the Anti-Defamation League says anti-Semitic content soared more than 919%.
the type of things that people are being subjected to and put through simply because of, who they are, what their name is.
We've seen an absolute explosion in hate online, all the way across various social media platforms. Just the most vile stuff that one can imagine.
Because social media is driven by engagement, unless checked, hateful content spreads faster.
So what they amplify to billions of people is the stuff that gets the most interactions. And the stuff that gets the most interactions are conspiracy theories and hate.
Elon Musk, X's owner, exacerbated things with posts endorsing an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. IBM and Apple pulled advertising. The White House offered a rare rebuke of a private company, saying we condemn this abhorrent promotion of anti-Semitic and racist hate. In a call with TikTok executives, a group of Jewish celebrities led by Sacha Baron Cohen criticized the company for promoting anti-Semitic content.
They find themselves in this moment of real emergency where the lies that underpin hate are flowing unabated on their platform, incapable of dealing with it.
The EU and the UK have taken steps to hold social media companies accountable for content on their platforms, something Canada has yet to do. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Police in California say they're still investigating the death of a pro-Israel demonstrator after charging a suspect yesterday.
We also did not file a hate crime at this time, although that investigation is ongoing.
Paul Kessler died after a confrontation at a protest over the Israel-Hamas war earlier this month. Lowai Al-Naji, a 50-year-old professor, faces charges of battery and involuntary manslaughter. As the APEC summit in San Francisco was wrapping up, the Prime Minister said he was concerned about the rise of Islamophobic and anti-Semitic incidents in Canada.
If Canadians can't figure out how to get along and remember to be compassionate and empathetic towards each other, then where in the world is a solution for the conflict and the tensions in the Middle East going to come?
Justin Trudeau also reiterated his call on Israel to exercise maximum restraint to avoid civilian deaths in Gaza. Here in Canada, homeowners thinking about applying to a federal grant to help offset the cost of making their homes energy efficient could soon run out of time. The Greener Homes grant was expected to last for a few more years, but as David Thurton tells us, the program appears to be too popular.
Going out and into the front of the house, that's how
Diana Burson wants to update her old furnace to a green one.
It's a gas furnace, so it's super efficient back in the 80s, I'm sure.
But she's running out of time to cash in on a federal rebate.
I naively thought that the program would always be there for me to help me.
Ottawa's Greener Homes grant offers up to $5,600 for green home improvements. The program was expected to run until 2027, but now some in the energy industry say it could be out of cash next year. Already, it's paid out $450 million of its $2.6 billion budget, and there are many applications still in the queue.
Yes, we've actually started to exhaust the funds earlier than what we had anticipated, and that's largely a function of the popularity of the program.
Homeowners aren't the only ones who are worried about what could happen to this program. Those who work in the energy efficiency field are also concerned.
You can see even the hole is leaking air.
Dylan Trebles once worked in tech. Now he conducts energy audits, a requirement to qualify for a green grant.
I've been doing this about a year now, and so to have kind of the rug pulled out a little bit is sort of what it feels like.
Experts say an end to the program could set back Ottawa's climate goals.
What the government could be doing and should be doing is signaling a long-term commitment to using energy efficiency.
The federal government has not yet committed to renewing the program.
We obviously will be having conversations internally with my colleagues about whether we require more funding going forward.
That's little comfort for some.
So if this program doesn't get renewed, what's going to happen, you think?
My mind would be on, okay, how am I going to afford paying the bills for all of these things?
Without assurances, Burson's energy-saving renos may have to wait. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
A high-profile figure in organized crime in Quebec was shot and killed this morning, sources telling CBC Radio-Canada. It happened in a parking lot in a city near Montreal.
He was a very hardcore
drug trafficking leader in Montreal.
That's how a retired detective described Gregory Woolley. Woolley, originally from Haiti, had ties to the Hells Angels and the Mafia. The charred remains of a car found on a Montreal side street are believed to be connected to the shooting, though police won't confirm if the two were linked. There's mixed reaction tonight to new pay standards that BC is proposing for gig workers. The move would regulate wages to ensure drivers for companies like Uber and DoorDash make more than minimum wage, at least when they're on call. Lindsay Duncombe explains what that could mean for customers.
About $20 an hour. That's what the BC government thinks gig workers delivering food or driving customers should make. A wage 20% higher than minimum.
I would think it's good news.
But under the proposed legislation, Sam Morton wouldn't be paid for this, waiting. The new wage would only apply when he's on a call.
I could be waiting for like maybe 4 hours in a day total. So I'm probably actively doing deliveries for maybe 4 hours of the day and then waiting for the other 4.
BC also wants to make gig workers eligible for workers' compensation and have defined rules for firing them.
Our government believes everyone who works for a living deserves to be treated fairly.
Defining fairness in a gig economy is a challenge for governments around the world. In the UK, rideshare drivers get pensions and holiday pay. Ontario has plans to implement a minimum wage next year, but changes come with a warning from companies.
This could definitely have an impact on, the cost for delivery for consumers.
Still, some drivers say BC's proposed changes don't go far enough.
My mortgage going up $1,000. Do you think I can afford with the 20% more than the minimum wage? I don't think so.
Many gig workers are new Canadians waiting for approval of foreign credentials or learning language skills.
Now what they need to do is give them all...
Advocates say they should be eligible for sick leave and be paid for all the time they work.
We're deciding that these workers don't deserve the same treatment as all the other employees in BC. That's just not fair, and that's going to uphold racial inequality in the BC labor market.
If BC's proposed legislation is passed and implemented, a lot of paychecks would change. Tens of thousands of British Columbians deliver food and drive for rideshare companies. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Vancouver.
Toronto police say they've made the largest drug bust in the department's history.
Intercepting the flow of these drugs has prevented many overdose deaths. As we know, is a very heartbreaking and challenging aspect that's facing society today.
Nearly 1,000 kilograms of crystal meth and powdered cocaine were seized, with total estimated street value of $90 million. 7 people were arrested during the 3.5-month investigation. Toxic drugs bought on the street in BC are responsible for a record number of deaths this year.
If people don't have access, they're just going to die in the streets.
Coming up on The Breakdown, we'll look at just how far some are going to guarantee access to a safer supply. Plus, what's the future of the government's single-use plastics ban?
Chances are very high that we will appeal this decision because we strongly believe that we need to fight plastic pollution.
The fallout of a federal court ruling. And a little later, a special bond forged through art.
He loves being an artist. It's his life's work.
The Saskatchewan teen who taught her horse to paint.
Do you like it?
We're back in 2. In the southern Philippines, 1 person has died after a magnitude 6.7 earthquake, dozens more hurt, and authorities say there has been significant structural damage. In India, rescue teams stopped their attempts to reach 40 trapped workers in a collapsed highway tunnel because of a sudden cracking sound. Teams working in the Indian Himalayas were concerned about a further collapse. The workers have been stuck since last weekend, though authorities say they are safe for now. Ottawa's plan to ban single-use plastics is now in jeopardy after a federal court decision. But as Aaron Collins explains, despite the ruling, there may not be much demand for the return of some of those products.
Single-use plastic bags have long been history at this Calgary market.
Do you ever get any pushback from people
coming to get their groceries?
Not anymore. People just know. They don't hardly ever ask for them.
Well, a federal ban on single-use plastics was set to take effect next month. But Canada's federal court binned that plan after a challenge from the plastics industry, determining the law, which labeled many single-use plastic products as toxic, is unreasonable and unconstitutional. The maker of this compostable shopping bag agrees his invention caught up in the ban.
It's made of compostable resins that are derived from starch.
Now, potentially new life for these bags as a plastics alternative in Canada.
In California, in Italy, in Germany, in France, even in China right now, they're embracing this product as a perfect substitute.
But Ottawa doesn't believe its ban is dead just yet.
The chances are very high that we will appeal this decision because we strongly believe that we need to fight plastic pollution.
Whatever happens with the federal law, single-use plastics are already on the way out in many Canadian communities. But some environmental groups worry that this week's court ruling could change that.
Certainly, if no further regulatory action is taken and no further appeal is taken, there's no legal basis to enforce a ban.
It's another legal setback for Ottawa's environmental agenda. Just last month, the controversial Bill C-69, dubbed the No More Pipelines Law, was deemed unconstitutional too. But back at that Calgary supermarket, the shift to reusable bags seems here to stay.
It always saves me time when I'm going to the grocery store, and it's cheaper as well.
Still, with the federal plastics ban in limbo, getting plastic off store shelves is anything but in the bag. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
Delegates from around the world have gathered in Halifax for the 15th Annual Global Security Forum.
I wanted climate action.
My video is about war and Russian aggression.
The teens with some big ideas invited to attend. Plus, with people dying from toxic drugs in staggering numbers, the fight to save lives is being pushed past the legal limit.
This is North America's first cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine compassion club.
Why experts say the government needs to be doing more to guarantee a safer supply. And I'll put their concerns directly to the BC government. The National takes you deeper into the story shaping our world. Next.
We have to continue to support them for as long as it takes with whatever is required.
Defense Minister Bill Blair reiterated Canada and NATO's support for Ukraine in its fight against Russia's invasion at the 15th Halifax International Security Forum. As the war grinds on almost 2 years after it began, there are fears global support for Ukraine could begin to wane. As leaders look to tackle the global challenges, young people are joining the conversation, sharing their vision for the future. Kayla Hounsell spoke with some, hoping to shape policies over the next 15 years.
They may look like teenagers just hanging out on the Halifax waterfront, but they've come with important missions.
I wanted climate action and real climate action.
The positive change I want to see in 15 years from now is no child labors.
My video is about war and Russian aggression.
Koshin from Toronto, Michaela from Jamaica, and Sophia from the Republic of Georgia.
We thought it was important for them to learn from the people who are here, but just as important are for the decision makers here to learn from them.
So to mark its 15th anniversary, the Security Forum launched a global contest, inviting 15-year-olds to explain one change they want to see in the next 15 years in just 15 seconds.
15 years ago, when I was born, Russia invaded Georgia and to this day still occupies part of my country. Kremlin continues its aggression. The ongoing attack on Ukraine is yet another proof.
The winners are rubbing shoulders with world leaders, military officials, and defense experts.
Are you very proud of your daughter?
I am.
Young, but engaged.
I'm looking forward to hearing about the war in Israel.
I'm really looking forward towards the different panelists and the discussions regarding especially Russia and Ukraine.
And hoping their involvement makes a difference.
For people my age to help make a change for the better and learn more about the world around us. And also, I'd never been to Canada, so.
And along with their moms, they are getting to see the sights.
There's 121 bodies that are buried here from the Titanic.
And a visit to Peace by Chocolate.
And then the war started.
to learn about the Syrian refugees who fled war and came to Nova Scotia.
$1 of this goes to donation.
Trying to create peace, a goal these youth also share. Kayla Hounsel, CBC News, Halifax.
Now let's break down the news shaping our world. As BC struggles to contain addiction and death, activists push for wider access to a safer drug supply. So why is the province pushing back? This is the breakdown. In BC, a deadly toxic drug crisis without end.
You have no choice but to seek out this drug.
In the effort to save lives, some activists want to go beyond sanctioned measures like supervised injection sites.
This is North America's first cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine compassion club.
But for authorities, that's a step too far. That Vancouver activist operation was shut down, but there is support for more access to a so-called safer supply of hard drugs, from the provincial coroner to doctors to those trying to reclaim control over their lives. Four times a day, 7 days a week, Dennis Pelzer comes to this health clinic on Vancouver's downtown east side. He says it saved his life. If those programs didn't exist, where would you get your drugs?
Right off the street.
Like right out there?
Yeah.
How many times do you think you OD'd?
I was ODing like almost every time I used. It didn't matter how much I used, I went down.
This is called the SAFER program, the first of its kind in North America. About 100 patients come here to get this, fentanyl, prescribed by a doctor, prepared by a pharmacist. That's why it's considered safer than what's on sale on the streets just outside of here. Could you ever have imagined you'd be coming in here and getting prescription fentanyl?
No, no.
Like a doctor prescribes it, you get it, it's clean, and you get to use it here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, whew, wow, all right, sign me up. After we get it in the cooker, we throw the water in, and then these are tourniquets.
Even in a province known for bold innovations to reduce drug deaths, fentanyl, distributed by a government-funded clinic, is a big step. Dr. Christy Sutherland launched the program.
Well, I never thought I would be doing this. Like, I also agree, it's quite bizarre. I'm a family doctor. I should be doing pap tests and working on people's hypertension, but I landed in this community, and this is the services that they need, so this is what I created as a family doctor. For me, the way I look at it is that drugs exist, and society also exists. And what is the relationship between drugs and society? Right now, we have the worst relationship possible. Organized crime controls the supply chain, they control the dose, they control the price, and they are unregulated. So if you were to sit down and set up the worst system possible to make it racist and violent and kill people, this is the system you would create.
The drug death crisis in British Columbia is so acute, there's really not much controversy about a government-funded clinic distributing fentanyl. But here's the contentious part, and lives hang in the balance. How can the province quickly expand the number of people who get so-called safer tested drugs? And consider these two numbers. Currently, about 5,000 British Columbians get drugs from some sort of government-supervised program. It could be fentanyl or an opioid replacement drug. But according to a coroner's report, 225,000 people in this province are at risk of injury or death because they're getting their drugs on the street. That risk extends far beyond the downtown east side, and the question remains, how far should access to safer supply extend? You're looking at what was the distribution center for the Drug Users Liberation Front, or DULF.
So for our heroin, we always use red bags, and the meth is in green bags, and the cocaine is in clear bags.
It is an activist group pushing for change. And back in September, co-founder Jeremy Calicum invited us to watch him package their version of a safer supply with drugs they obtained illegally.
Yeah, so this is North America's first cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine compassion club.
Though not supervised by medical staff, the drugs here were tested at a university. Carefully packaged with detailed labels from the precise contents to a warning.
Okay,
That's
so
great.
that's $33.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7, and we're good to go.
They were sold to club members at cost. Funding from the provincial government paid for the testing.
Half gram of tested, clean, no cut, but it's also highly addictive and dangerous to people who don't use it. Right? So.
Dolph says no one has died using their drugs.
This kind of program, if it were to expand, what would the result be? What would the net change be?
Obviously, there'd be less deaths, there'd be less overdoses, there'd be less of attacks on our healthcare system, less of attacks on policing. It'd also be a lot of money taken away from organized crime, because these are drugs that organized crime would otherwise be selling to these people at inflated prices. You know, what we're doing right now is we still are buying it from the black market and then taking away a margin of those profits by selling it for a much lower price. But if we could get those drugs from a pharmaceutical company, which is really no problem, like chemists can make this stuff up in no time at all. So you have the people's names here, right? Like Airbnb, Canada Goodies.
This is where Dolph got its drugs, traveling through the dark web to find suppliers. As Calicum said, they bought in bulk on the black market from Canadian sellers, the packages mailed to them. Buying drugs on the dark web may have been a step too far. After almost a year in operation, the Vancouver police swooped in and shut Dolph down. The provincial government withdrew its funding, and the members of the Compassion Club presumably left to buy their drugs on the street. Dolph may not have the backing of the provincial government, but it does have support in the community. Keep in mind, many of the bold steps taken in the downtown east side have been led by activists, from needle exchanges to supervised injection sites.
If people don't have access, then they're just going to die in the streets.
And just as Dolph was being shut down, a panel of 21 experts issued this report for the coroner. The bottom line, with 6 people dying every day in BC from toxic drugs in September, it said access to a safer supply must be expanded quickly, even without a doctor's supervision. The panel said our urgent attention must be on creating access to alternatives to the unregulated drug supply for people who use drugs. But before the recommendations were even announced, the provincial government said it would not support providing drugs without a prescription.
First question today.
At the news conference about the panel's recommendations, BC's chief coroner, Lisa Lapointe, was asked about the decision to shut down Dolph, which police say was trafficking drugs.
I can't speak specifically to those, to that action, but I suppose I would say that if you see somebody in a burning house, you feel somewhat justified to smash a window. And this crisis is massive. 225,000 people are still at risk of death every day.
One capsule each time.
Yeah.
And then you go over to one of these tables.
Yeah.
Dennis Pelzer is one of the fortunate ones in a medically supervised program with access to a safer supply and plans he couldn't have imagined without it. A stable life, and soon he hopes a job.
You know, there's some people who hear about this program and they say it's wrong for doctors to prescribe fentanyl. It just feels wrong to them. What would you say to people who say that?
They don't know what it's like to be addicted to fentanyl. It's such a hard thing to explain to someone that doesn't do drugs. Once you get hooked on it, it's scary, you know, like you have no choice but to seek out this drug.
As you can see, Dennis was very open about his story. In fact, he thanked us for coming down to talk to him, saying he's pleased the clinic that has been so important to him is getting attention. Coming up, I'll speak with BC's Minister of Mental Health and Addictions about why the province isn't following recommendations on safer supply that the chief coroner says are needed to save lives. That interview is up next on The Breakdown. Amid BC's spiraling toxic drug crisis, growing calls for the province to give addicts wider access to safer options, from doctors.
Organized crime controls the supply chain, they control the dose, they control the price, and they are unregulated.
To the chief coroner.
If you see somebody in a burning house, you feel somewhat justified to smash a window.
So why is the province saying no? Well, Jennifer Whiteside, BC's Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, joins us now from Victoria. Thanks for doing this.
Happy to be here, Ian.
Earlier in the program, we showed our audience a so-called Compassion Club. They would get meth and cocaine and heroin from the dark web, have it tested at universities, and they say that no member of their club had an overdose after using their drugs. Now it's been closed down. How do you feel about the work they were doing?
Well, you know, Ian, there's no question that the toxic drug crisis is taking a tragic and unacceptable toll on the lives of British Columbians, and it's happening in every corner of the province, in every community. It's impacting people from every walk of life. It is one of the most challenging and volatile public health issues that we're facing. And there is no question that we really need all hands on deck. We need to be working across many partner groups, our health authorities, our community partners, to be trying to turn the tide on the toll that the toxic drug crisis is taking.
Yeah, but if I can jump in and say, sorry, but I just want to, in terms of having all hands on deck, what about something like DULF, as they're called, the Drug Users Liberation Front, providing safer supply to 40 people?
You know, Ian, we have a prescribed safer supply program that we really have pioneered in British Columbia, that came into being at the beginning of the pandemic, and was one way to try to ensure that we didn't see the public health response to the COVID-19 pandemic having a worse impact on people who rely on the illicit drug market. And that program is still, while still in its early stages, is showing some very promising results, and is something that, you know, our public health officer is looking at very closely, that we're adapting to the sort of post-COVID period that we're in. And that is a very important program that we continue to invest in and work with prescribers and doctors and nurses who are on the front line working with that program.
But as you know, BC's chief coroner earlier this month issued a report. It came from a panel of 21 experts. There was a police chief there. There were, you know, just a blue ribbon panel of people who were involved. And they said, and we've reported these numbers, that there are about 5,000 British Columbians who are under the kinds of programs you were talking about that are medically supervised, but that there are 225,000 British Columbians at risk right now, tonight, this weekend, who may be buying drugs off the street and may be poisoned because of that. And they say that the provincial government needs to expand very urgently access to a safer supply. So I just wonder, what is being done in that regard? Let's pick your time frame over the next month, let's say.
Yeah, and there is no question, Ian, that the toxic drug crisis is taking a really devastating toll on British Columbians and on our communities. And when it comes to our prescribed safer supply model, in fact, working on scaling that up is precisely what we are doing. We have added prescribers. We have seen the College of Nurses just implement certification standards so that nurses can diagnose and treat opioid use disorder. You know, in this province, we have about 100,000 people who are diagnosed with opioid use disorder. We have, as you said, about 5,000 people currently, approximately, enrolled in our prescribed program, and about, on any given month, about 24,000 people who are connecting with other medically treatment programs, such as opioid agonist therapy, where they're receiving something like methadone or Suboxone as an opioid alternative to help help keep them stable. So we have made strides over the last few years to provide better access to these programs, and we are doing work every day across our healthcare system to scale up access.
Having read that coroner's panel report, here's the problem. The problem is urgency, right? Like, I still wonder what the answer is. What happens to the people who have, we're vulnerable to street drugs and poisonings. What happens this week, next week, the week after that?
You know, Ian, that is something that I think about every day, that my government thinks about every day, that the doctors, the nurses, the peers, the outreach workers, the Indigenous peer workers think about every single day. How do we turn the tide on what is a vicious and volatile public health crisis? And that is why the work that we are doing around working with doctors, with nurses on prescriber models to scale up work that is not being done on this scale really anywhere else in Canada. I mean, British Columbia is leading this work, and I'm very grateful to public health, to all of our doctors and nurses on the front lines who have been guiding us in this work.
Jennifer Whiteside, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you, Ian.
So how effective is BC's response to the toxic drug crisis? That may be answered soon. You heard the minister mention that the provincial health officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry, is about to deliver a report looking in part at a safer supply. This Sunday on The National, Canadian chef Susur Lee was a rock star in the foodie world thanks to television cooking shows. Then his son Jet started putting cooking videos on TikTok, making them both social media stars.
I get nervous when we are plating the dish, when I'm making the dish, when I'm plating, and he would say, question me, "Dad, does it look good?" That makes me so nervous. Okay, I can cook with any competition show, any great chef in the world. When he said that, I was like, holy shit, I'm questioning myself. Maybe he's right. Maybe this is not good enough. I get depressed when he said, "Dad, I don't think that is that great. It got a little burned." My day ruined. And he doesn't know that. I get so depressed. I would call him up and say, "Jet, can I refilm that?" No, Dad, no, it's fine, it's fine.
That's a lot of pressure now that you know that.
We can be tough on each other in the moment sometimes because when he actually makes stuff like this, I feel like on the Food Network, there's so much production behind it. Like they'll make a sauce 2 hours before they'll plate it. It could be cold, but when he's making it, he's actually making it so it tastes good.
Our feature interview and a meal prep session with Susur Lee and his son Jet this Sunday on The National. Coming up, the creative bond between a girl and her horse.
If I get the paint bottles out of my locker, he gets excited. He loves being an artist. It's his life's work.
How this horse developed a passion for painting. Next, in our moment. 17-year-old Ella Wall has Tourette's syndrome, and Tough the horse has an injury from his days on the racetrack. They found each other at a horseback riding school in Saskatchewan and quickly became best friends. But they're making more than just happy memories. They are making art because Ella has taught Tough to paint. The equine artist is our moment.
He loves being an artist. It's his life's work. This is Tough. He's an off-track thoroughbred. I found the idea on TikTok and I was like, hey, that sounds kind of cool, and he really liked it. He chooses his colors. I hold it out to him. No. If he touches it with his nose, yeah. I take that as a yes, I'll use the color. And then I put the colors on the canvas. I cover it with some kind of plastic so he can't eat the paint. And then he just kind of licks the top cover, like the plastic layer. He smushes the paint around, and then it has a bunch of cool patterns on it. Herschel. Dude! Every painting is unique and they all tell a little story, so I think the people really like that.
It's a mutually beneficial relationship. Sometimes with Ella's Tourette's, she's unable to speak, and so Tough allows her to speak again.
Are you mad that Herschel wrecked your painting?
It's just a magical relationship. Tough is happier, he's got his person, and not every horse has their person. So we've tried him with other people, it just doesn't work. But with Tough and Ella, they just help each other so much.
I just kind of fell in love with him. We do like everything together.
I've always felt like I don't really understand art, and I clearly don't understand equine art, but I do appreciate the amazing relationship and the bond that the two of them have. That is the National for November 17th. I hope you join me on Sunday for Cross Country Checkup on CBC Radio and CBC News Network, and later that night right here for the National. Have a great Saturday.